Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. My name is Jean Williams. I'm your Program Quality Director for District 115, which is Southern Nevada. And I have no co-host today. They're trusting me by myself, and I can't even find an intern in the shop to work with us today. So that's okay. We're just going to go over a few things, make some announcements, give you some deadline times to put on your calendar, and talk a little bit about the Distinguished Toastmaster requirements. So let's start with the Mark Your Calendar Monday segment. That is, okay. We're going to start with, we just finished our early bird TLI, which was a lot of fun. And we're going to, well, we are going to find it. Okay, well, I apologize. I thought I had it right here. I had pulled it up. Here we go. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Okay. Deadlines come, the dates and deadlines coming up. We had our early bird club officer training, and that went really well. This was this past Saturday. But now we've got our full TLIs, which is the Toastmaster Leadership Institute. That includes club officer training, which is required, and also other educationals as well. So we've got that coming up. The in-person TLI will be on June 25th. That is 2 Saturdays, coming week after Saturday, June 25th. That'll be from 8 a.m. till noon at the LDS Church at 5160 Lone Mountain Road in Las Vegas. Doors will open at 8, classes will start at 8:30. So come for that, and each hour there'll be an educational as well. So even if you're not in a club office and there's a class going on that hour, you can always attend the educational for that one instead. So that'll be a lot of fun. Then also that night, that same night on June 25th is game night. And game night's a lot of fun. You guys are missing out if you're not coming to game night. We have fun. We play Pictionary. We played Scrabble before. We've played all sorts of escape room challenges and murder mysteries. It's a lot of fun. It changes each week or each month. So come to that. That'll be on the evening of June 25th. That will be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. These are Pacific times. And all of these links for the virtual events are in your newsletter. So go back to the first couple of days of June, look for your newsletter and look for those links. So that's coming up then on the evening of June 25th. Now our online TLI is July the 9th. And that'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. again, Pacific. Let me pause for a moment. Because we do have a lot of members that joined us during the pandemic and we're really happy they're part of our district, we want to make sure everybody gets a full TLI, Toastmaster Leadership Institute. So what we do is we have the full in-person and a full online. It's not a makeup. There'll be different educationals at each, but the classes for the club officers are exactly the same. You'll attend one or the other to get your credit for your club. And again, another thing to keep in mind, we had the incentive this past spring. If you had 100% officers trained, that's all 7, then you would get an incentive award. And that was a real nice bunch of information. We actually got these really nice chat packs, which are really cool ideas for table topic questions, a word of the day pack, all sorts of fun stuff. And we're going to have that incentive again. So you want to have 100% of your officers trained, not just the 4 required. And that also helps your club, because if all of your officers are trained and they know what they're doing, the club's going to run more smoothly and you're going to have a lot more fun of a time when you go. So keep that in mind, one or the other of those. If you just really cannot attend one of those and you're a club officer, to get that 100% training, reach out to me at D115PQD or Ken Richardson, who you see tomorrow, and ask us about other makeup sessions, because other districts are putting things online and you can attend in another district. But keep that in mind. You either get a choice of online or in person, or if you'd like to attend both, if you're able to, we'd certainly welcome you at both. One has refreshments, the other one you can wear your fuzzy slippers. But either way, have a lot of fun with that. Then the first district officer training, that is for area directors, division directors, and above. That will be on July 16th. It's a Saturday. It'll be from 9 till noon. The location is being determined right now, so we're looking for that. Keep that in mind. If you are interested in being an area director, we still have a few vacancies for that. So we'll talk about that at the end of this show right now. And then don't forget the international convention. If you're really want to venture out is in Nashville, Tennessee this year, August 17th through 20th. And that is the One International Convention. And we talked about the contest throughout the spring where people had competed at their club level, their area level, their division level, their district level. And those videos are in the process now. They go to regional, they go through regional quarterfinals, semifinals, all of that. And finally, the top 7, 8, 9, I forget how many they'll pick, will go to the world stage, as it's called, and compete at the International Convention for the World Champion of Public Speaking title and trophy and all that goes with it. So if you're able to go to the International Convention in Nashville, look for that. I'm sure the information's all over the Toastmaster International website. So those are things that are coming up. Look for those. And now I want to talk a little bit about, let's see if there's any other announcements. Area directors, we still are in need of area directors. If you are, the easiest way, each of our division directors have a vacancy or two, and some of them have two. Pick a division director you would like to work for the most, and you can put in your application for that division or that area that you're interested in. Keep in mind, somebody else has picked that area. You may be asked to look at a different area. And I would challenge you to pick an area with clubs you don't know, because that really gives you a chance to meet more people, see more clubs, interact with outside of your club more. So be brave, do that. So let's talk a little bit about distinguished Toastmaster requirements. And this has come up this past Saturday when we had our early bird club officer training. One of the educational classes we had as part of enrichment night, which is always the second Saturday, was DTM requirements, distinguished Toastmaster requirements. Just to recap, we have an educational system that you work through in order to really hone your speaking skills, your listening skills, your leadership skills, all of those things. And that's called Pathways. And the goal is to finish your Pathways educational system so that you become a distinguished Toastmaster. And that's the DTM you see behind a lot of names when you're looking in the Toastmaster world. So the distinguished Toastmaster requirements, because things have changed now with Pathways and people now are working through Pathways to the point where they're getting there to get their distinguished Toastmaster, there's a lot of confusion. When it first came out, you just finished 2 paths and you'll have your distinguished Toastmaster, but that's not entirely true. And now we're getting people who are saying, well, I finished 2 paths and now I'm confused. So let me clear up a little bit of that confusion. You have to complete the 2 learning paths, and we have 13 paths: engaging humor, leadership development, presentation mastery. There's 13 different paths, and you can pick any 2 of those paths and complete those. When you've completed 1 and about a half, you can reach out to get your Distinguished Toastmaster project, which is one of the requirements for your Distinguished Toastmaster. The Distinguished Toastmaster project is a project where you're working with committees. It's really to show your leadership skills and really practice your leadership skills one last time. So you would pick a project that interests you. Maybe you want to help raise money for a nonprofit like the Animal Foundation, or maybe you would like to find a way to benefit a senior living center that is in need and needs things. There's always a lot of nonprofits have wish lists. The Humane Society has one with things as simple as a jar of peanut butter or a kitty pooper scooper, things like that. And the VA has a waiting list, for example, if you want to work at the VA hospital and help out there. So there's so many different nonprofits, you could just reach out to one that is near and dear to your heart and ask for their wish list and look down at it and see if that gives you any ideas. Or maybe you have some other idea. We did actually have a class at the last, at this early bird tail, at the enrichment night, on Saturday, about DTM and high performance leadership project ideas. And it was just a really great throwing around ideas. So if you will try to have another one of those at the in-person TLI, maybe again, it just seems to be a topic of discussion. Some people really have great ideas and other people need great ideas. So it's really a great format to have that interaction. So the DTM project is one of your requirements in addition to the 2 paths. You also need to serve as a club officer for 12 months. And it doesn't say which club officer. It can be any club officer. If you feel more comfortable being the sergeant at arms or the secretary, that's fine. And as part of that, you need to participate in the preparation of a club success plan. And I know Ken has talked on his episodes. Look back through one of them and find the one about the club success plans. If you really set it up great, and it gives your club what it is, it gives your club a chance to sit down and think about what will make us successful. What can we do to be better? What can we do to make ourselves more attractive to new members? And what can we do to keep the members we have more engaged and happy? And that's your club success plan. So that's when you're coming together to do that. So that is another requirement. So you got to serve as a club officer for 12 months. And as part of that, participate in the preparation of a club success plan. Okay. The next one is complete a 1-year term as a district officer. Most people become area directors. Again, if you'd like to become an area director, you got to get the full year. So if you're thinking about becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, be putting in your paperwork this time next year, then you'll want to be an area director right away. What is required to be an area director? Be a club officer. You do want to be a club officer, but we're also trying to work with you and have some flexibility. We do have people who are willing to step up to the plate and be mentors and work with you closely if you are a little unsure. But if you feel like you might have the leadership, you want to flex those leadership muscles and you want to move forward, reach out to us. And if you know someone in your club, maybe who doesn't watch the show, who doesn't hear us say that we need area directors. If there's someone in one of your clubs that you think, wow, this person really has leadership potential, they just don't see it themselves, and talk to them and find out, would you like to be an area director? And what does it entail? You would visit your club. You have 4 clubs typically. Some areas have 3, but typically 4 or even 5 clubs. You visit them, I'd say at least every other month. I mean, try to visit them. A good area director can really help a club succeed. And an area director who is doing the bare minimum, unfortunately, can watch a club fail. And you don't want that. You want all your clubs to succeed and to succeed very well. So as an area director, you would be helping there. You're helping organize a contest, which really shows how you can organize things and get things started. You usually have committees you're working with to, again, work on your leadership skills. So there's so many things you learn as an area director. And most people who have gone through all the chairs of leadership have said that area director was their favorite. There was so many things they could do to get outside the club, to get involved in their area. So in their different clubs, different in leadership in the district. So that is one of the requirements for a distinguished Toastmaster. Now, here's where it gets confusing to people who are under the old system in their mind and are still trying to get used to the pathways method. You would need to serve, in addition to the requirements we've already said, serve as a club mentor or a club coach. The difference is a club mentor works with a brand new club. They have a mentor that works with them for 6 months, hopefully longer, helps them get on the right footing and be strong and capable before they're completely kind of graduated into being a full-fledged club. They are a full-fledged club when they're charter, but it helps them get even better. Or you can be a club coach, and that's a person who comes into a club with 12 or fewer members and helps them get up to where they need to be. Like it could be 13 members, it could be 18, it could be 20, depending upon the club. But it helps that club get to their requirement for the distinguished club program. So that if you want to work with an existing club, you'd be a club coach. Work with a brand new club, club mentor. Another requirement is to be a club sponsor, which is the person who basically works to charter the club, a brand new club, or conduct a speechcraft or a youth leadership project. So let's talk about those two. I know you've heard them on different episodes, so I won't go into a lot of details, but basically a speechcraft is for adults, and a youth leadership program is for people under 18. And they're very similar other than that. They're a finite length of time, typically 8 sessions. So you'd have it for adults or young or kids. 8 sessions, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8 sessions. And they come and they give speeches. It is like a Toastmaster meeting, but it's just that finite length of time. Usually a club will sponsor a speechcraft so that the people going through that are working with members of that club If they really like Toastmasters after the Speechcraft, they might join that club. They might find one that fits in their schedule better, but typically it'll be one club that sponsors that Speechcraft. And it can be a shorter time than 8-minute meetings, but typically it's 8. You can also have one at your company. If you are a company club and you just want to maybe have something like for example, my office used to have about once a year, once every other year, they'd have a management training program. And it'd be a chance for people who are interested in management to come and learn more about it. You could work with your HR department if you're in a company club and find out if there's a way to do something similar with a Speechcraft and have a way to let people come and work on their leadership skills and their public speaking skills, even their interview skills, because part of every Toastmaster meeting is an impromptu portion called Table Topics, where you can work on your impromptu speaking portion, which does help you with job interviews and such. So work with your HR department if you're in a company. Even if your company doesn't have a club, maybe you've been talking to them about having a club, they're not really sure. Maybe a Speechcraft would be a way to let the company see, do we want to have a Toastmaster club? Who would be interested? How would it help them? And really let them see what would come out of the program. And he said, well, look, if that's 8 weeks, can you imagine how it would be if we had a Toastmaster club all the time? So check with that. And if you have more questions about having one at your company, or you want someone to come and talk to you and your employer, or you and your HR department, let us know. Myself, Ken, or our brand new club growth director coming in another week or two is Scott Transu. Any one of us would be more than happy to come in and talk to you and your company. Or even if you're just hearing this and you have a company, you want to find out more, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to fill you in on all the details. They're very inexpensive, all things considered, a lot cheaper than you'd pay for some of these companies to come in and take care of your company. Youth Leadership Project. Now that's where it gets fun. You can have a youth leadership project, and I would encourage you to think about having it online. We got a whole generation of people who have never lived a day in their life without a computer and really don't see anything wrong with attending things online. So if you're concerned about finding a location or background checks or fingerprinting or all of that, but you still think it'd be nice to have something in for the youth, maybe you have a school teacher you want to work with and you think, well, what if we had it for your kids in your English classes? You might work with the teacher and see if there's some way to do it online or at the school, and make sure you follow the school requirements. If you're already working with a group of youth, maybe you're a scout leader, maybe you're working with them in the band or some other way, or teaching music lessons some other way, you might want to think about teaching a youth leadership project there as well. And again, it can be any age. There is no minimum age on youth leadership programs. And I want to emphasize that, because most people think of teenagers, think, okay, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. That's what I'm going to teach, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And I understand that because they're the most like adults that you can get and be under 18. But I challenge you, if you're thinking about doing a youth leadership project, think about middle school. And I say that because take a moment and think about how different would your life be if you felt comfortable public speaking in 6th or 7th grade. Would you feel more confident talking to people when you started high school? Yes. Would you feel more comfortable presenting a speech or something in one of your classes? Absolutely. Would you be more sure of yourself that first job interview when you're 15 or 16? Yes, absolutely. And that's why I think youth leadership projects, why not have one with 11 and 12-year-olds? It'd be a little more challenging in one way, but a lot more fun in another, because they're reaching that awkward age where everything's a little tough. That's middle school's hard. So if you want to catch kids at 5th or 6th grade, there's all kinds of ways to help out and do a youth leadership program. Talk to a teacher if you know one, a scout leader, work with them and say, look, I have this program I'm willing to teach. And talk to them. If you have more questions, talk to us as well. And look also at our TLIs and future enrichment nights for classes about becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, which includes the information about Speechcraft and youth leadership projects. So there you go. That's your requirements. To complete the 2 paths, serve as a club officer, and as part of that, do a club success plan. 1 full year as a district officer. Don't forget, you can still be an area director for this coming year. serve successfully as a club mentor or coach, serve successfully as a club sponsor, or conduct a speechcraft or youth leadership project, and complete the DTM project. So there you go. That is what's required to be a distinguished Toastmaster. And that's where you get to have the DTM behind your name and all the fun stuff that goes with it. For example, as a distinguished Toastmaster, the early bird club officer training comes up. The distinguished Toastmasters can't attend that because they typically have already served as a club officer, probably multiple times. Typically, it takes several years to become a distinguished Toastmaster, but it's a self-paced program. I've seen people whip through it in about 1.5 to 2 years. I've seen other people take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and that's fine. It's self-paced, which is the beauty of it, because you can work through the program as slow or as fast as you want. Toastmasters is not meant to just take over your life. It's meant to supplement your life. So if you have one of those where most people are in one club, they go to one club meeting twice a month, once a month, and they do the things that go with that, have fun, maybe serve as a club officer, all the things that are fun about Toastmasters. And it is fun. So if you happen to catch upon us and have never been to a Toastmaster meeting, you can go in to find a club or even listen to some of our announcements about open houses. Anytime there's an open house, we make the announcements on Monday. I look for flyers for those. I look for emails to me with the flyer, and I make those announcements. So if you are interested in just attending a meeting, go to find a club. You can put in your address, your zip code, and it'll come up with meetings. Call ahead, because some of the clubs are meeting online right now, even if they show a location where they met. One of the websites requires an address, and it doesn't like it when you take the address out because you're on Zoom. So just call ahead to make sure that where they're meeting and when. If you prefer a in-person meeting, we have a variety of those. If you prefer an online only meeting, we have a variety of those. And if you prefer hybrid, where you can choose each meeting, we call that hybrid. We have a variety of those. So we have lots of meetings and times and types that will all fit your need. And the other thing is, I tell people visit at least 3 clubs, because each club has a different personality. Some have different themes and different things. For example, we have Toastmasters in the kitchen. If you're a foodie, interested in cooking, just learning more, or talking with meeting people along that line, that's where you could visit Toastmasters in the kitchen. We have bachelors and bachelorettes. Kind of speaks for itself, but that one's actually having that one is having an open house coming up this Wednesday. Look on their live web, Bachelor and Bachelorettes, B&B sometimes it's called, but bachelors and bachelorettes. They are having an open house coming up at Rosati's, so you can have pizza, hang out, meet other single people, and decide if that's a good club for you. But we also have Republican Toastmasters, Democrats. We have so many. So look for one that suits you, look for one that you would like to visit, and visit them, and then decide if that's the club for you. And you can also find out a lot more information when you do visit a club. So you see all the things we have going on. There's always something going on, some way to learn, some way to grow, some way to be better at your public speaking skills. Don't be shy, get involved. And again, it's not, if you're seeing Ken or I, we're up in the tops of the leadership. It does take up a lot more of our time. But the typical member goes to meetings once or twice a month, 3 times a month, 4 times a month, depending on which type of club you meet. Some meet weekly, some meet every other week. And the typical member might compete in a club contest, and then after a few years, after a little while, become an area director. But there's so many things in the club to do as well, and so many fun projects and pathways. Everything from one of the pathways options is doing an impromptu speech where you don't know what you're going to be speaking about. You get to suddenly give one. So things like that. There's working with a team. There's all sorts of projects within pathways. So there's so many things we have to offer. Visit a club, start your journey as soon as you can. And if you're on the journey and you're looking for a change, think about being an area director. Think about running for club office within your club, or maybe now's the time to start working on your Distinguished Toastmaster project or your HPL project, and working on your leadership muscles that way. Plenty of things to do, plenty of things to see. I'm sorry I'm not watching Facebook Live right now. If you're making comments, I'm really sorry. We can address those later in the week. If there's something that you have questions about, I will look at that in about a half hour, make sure there's any questions that I can reach out to you and get those answered. But without my sidekick who looks at Facebook the whole time, I can't help you there, but we had an emergency where he had to take off and do something instead. So I do apologize to you there. Oh, but we made all the announcements. We've gone over a lot. Again, think about being an area director, think about being a club officer, the distinguished Toastmaster requirements, if you have any questions about that. And don't forget, we have the things coming up. We have your in-person TLI, June 25th, game night, the evening of June 25th, that's online. And then the online TLI on July 9th. And if you are an area director, division director, or above, July 16th, start your very first district officer training to get you hit the ground running as a district officer. So with that, thank you very much. And I will go ahead and end this. Let me get back to where I can. There we go. I'll go ahead and end our show today a couple minutes early. Thank you very much. And if you see us on Facebook, like, comment, share, talk to your friends. If maybe they already are in Toastmasters and you don't know that, be one of our followers and look for more information from us, even at our District 115 webpage, which is d115tm.org. TM for Toastmasters. Thank you very much. And you'll see Ken Richardson and Phyllis Tribby tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Thank you.